What is up, everybody? In today's video, I'm gonna talk about how I lost just over 50 pounds in less than 6 months time. So let's get technical. This all happened in 5 months time, and I think it's 52 pounds. I started my journey at 228 pounds. I know because I have the file from my doctor visit. And I just weighed myself today, which you can see right here, and I'm currently at 184 pounds. And I have to say, it feels pretty damn good. Not bad. I think in 7th grade, I weighed like 175 pounds, and I've always been over that forever. So to be 184 and that close to 175, feels good. So of course, there's more than 3 things that are all encompassing together, but I would say that these are the top 3 that really helped me to get here today, and sure as hell gonna help me to stay. So let's get into it. Here's number 1. The number 1 thing I think that helped me with this journey I'm on has been walking. So I walk every single day to move my body. I try to do 45 minutes every single day. Some days that's maybe 30 minutes, some days it's 20, but I try to consistently do 45 minutes a day. On those walks, I don't sprint, I don't jog, I don't do all the things that I was doing before in order to lose weight. I just simply move my body. It's great to clear my mind. It's a great time for me to be by myself and just walk, start my day off, and prepare me for the rest of the day. What I love about walking is that I've always thought that I needed to run X amount of miles or do these, short sprints with light walking in between, hiking all the time, all that kind of stuff. Walking does it just fine. You kind of don't need much more than that. The point is to move the body. And if you're eating correctly, likely those 2 things together are gonna be good enough. And it's a great way that's like helped out my overall routine. I started walking in the morning. From there I do, my other tasks, but I try not to do any work emails or, I have a couple of kids, so of course I have to tend to them, but I try to get my walk in first thing in the morning to kind of really set my entire day, and it's a great way to do it both mentally and physically. So walking, highly recommend, and something I've done consistently that helped me to get here and more importantly, to stay here. All right, so the number 2 thing that helped me on this journey, I would have to say consistency. So that might not be the most exciting thing to hear about, but it's the first time in my life I've ever been consistent with wanting to be healthy. I've done, a year of doing great. I've done 6 months of doing great. I've done 3 months of doing great, whatever it is, and then gotten right back into old habits, which we all do. It's okay for those things to happen. They're bound to happen. We're human. But it's the first time in my life where I can see like this is something that's sustainable and that I can continue doing. And because it was like a lifestyle change, it's been sustainable and I've been able to do it. So consistency is key. I get pretty strict about that. So for me, I don't believe in cheat days. I don't believe in cheat meals, none of that stuff. In my opinion, this is gonna sound dramatic. A cheat meal or a cheat day is just cheating yourself out of where you wanna go. And that's not something I'm interested in. So I don't cheat ever. And since I've been on this journey with the way I eat and with the way I approach my lifestyle, I haven't had a single day where I said, I deserve to have a piece of cake or I deserve to not do this thing that I find is really important, like walking, I was just talking about. I don't believe in the cheat meal, cheat day, none of that kind of stuff. And that's allowed me to stay consistent and make this truly a lifestyle change. And if you can make this a lifestyle change, that's where magic starts to happen. So consistency, 100%, one of the top 3 things. Moving on to number 3. Intermittent fasting. Some people love it, could be kind of trendy. Some people think it's horse crap, whatever it is. I do it pretty much daily. My intermittent fasting, I try to do an 18-hour fast, 6-hour eating window. Some days it's 16 hours, 8-hour eating window. I do think it's also great to break that one thing up. You don't always want to be in a ketogenic state or constantly intermittent fasting. So on the weekend, I will be a little bit more lenient with that. Not a cheat meal, not a cheat day. I stay strict with that stuff, but I allow myself to have some breakfast with my kids and my family, where normally on the daily, I'm not doing that. So on the weekends, I kind of let that up a little bit as far as the hours that I'm doing. Intermittent fasting has dramatically had a huge impact on my overall weight. To me, it's almost like the magic pill of making this all work together. You have to have the good foods and move the body. But the time restricted eating, if you get to a point in a place where it's not a struggle and it's not something that you're like, you feel like you're starving yourself, it works wonders. And I honestly think it's kind of crazy how I was approaching before that. I woke up, thought I needed breakfast, then a few hours later thought I needed lunch, then a few hours later thought I needed dinner, to be snacking in between those things, and then maybe having a little snack before bedtime or within a couple of hours of bedtime. I know personally, did not need that much food. That's overconsumption. And now that I've put my body in a place where I'm not hungry during the hours I'm fasting, I've switched over to, instead of burning sugar while I'm fasting, I'm burning stored fat, which has shed my stomach for the first time ever. I have like a flat stomach. It's fantastic. So intermittent fasting, I think, is something that's a wonderful thing to approach if you can do it. The way I approached it to get my body used to it and ready was I simply started by no longer snacking after dinner. So just start there. If you finish dinner at 6 p.m. and you go to bed at 9 p.m., just don't eat anything in between that time. Don't have sugary drinks, don't have popcorn, don't do anything. If you're fasting, technically you can only have water, green tea, and black coffee. So stick to those things during your fasting windows, but you can start there. And then I started doing the hours. So I got myself used to doing 12 hours a day of fasting. Then I bumped that up to 14 hours. When 14 hours felt good, I moved that up to 16 hours. When 16 hours felt good consistently and not a big deal anymore, I moved it up to 18 hours. So for me and my body, I really enjoy an 18-hour window fast. So typically I'm trying to wrap up dinner by 6 p.m. and not eating till 18 hours later, which usually works out to, anywhere. Sometimes I go 20 hours, sometimes I go, maybe 17 or something, but typically I end at 6 p.m. dinner, and then I have my first meal anywhere from like 12 to 2 p.m. the next day. And that has worked really well for me and been something I enjoy. Another thing I want to mention on intermittent fasting, which is important, you want to move away from the carbohydrates, the sugary foods. That way your body does get used to consuming more things like good fats. So fatty fish, salmon, sardines, mackerel. Those are some examples of fatty fish that are good for you. Walnuts are great, it has good omegas in there. Avocados. Once you start replenishing your body with less carbohydrates, processed foods, etc., and move more into protein, vegetables, and fruit, your body will naturally stop wanting to burn sugar and switch over to wanting to burn stored fat. All right, guys, well, that's it for today's video. And if you did like it, please hit subscribe, like, share, do all those things that everybody talks about. I genuinely want to be sharing my journey. I love it. It's a whole new way of life that I found, and I thought that this is a great way to be talking about it and share it with other people who are maybe looking for the same thing, because I know I was and didn't realize it until the doctor told me I needed to. So anyway, hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you on the next one. Peace.